Hi guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. I apologize for my froggy voice today. I'm telling you, the allergies are brutal. So I am finally here with my collaboration project with Dee Dee. And this is also my Artzology design team project for September. So Dee Dee and I did a video showing the 3 kits that I was going to use, and I did use all 3, and I'll list those below again. But in that video, I also showed and explained what we were doing for the collaboration part. Excuse me. So basically, Dee Dee had a tin, she had 2 of them, conveniently, that held like phone screen protectors. And I showed that in that video, so you can go back and watch that if you're interested to see what it looked like beforehand, because it doesn't look like that anymore. And basically we were to use that tin and the same kits from Deb at Artzology, because we're both on her design team. And we have not peeked at each other's. We have zero idea of what the other one is doing. So we are going to upload these at the exact same time. So after you're finished watching this one, if you haven't already, head on over to Dee Dee's channel and you can watch hers. And I'll link her below as well. So, all right, let me just quickly tell you the kits that I used, but they will be linked below. I used Grandma's Sewing Basket as the main kit. And then I used 2 smaller kits. One of them was the alteration tags that Deb has, and the other one is called Vintage Ladies, and it's just a whole ton of really cool pictures. Let me see, I have some left over here, and I'll pull it out real quick and show you. Like, yeah, so it's just page upon page upon page. I can't remember how many, but a lot of these really awesome vintage photos of lovely ladies. So I used some of those, and I used the tin that I was supposed to use. So this monster measures approximately 6 inches wide and 9 inches tall. There are 3 signatures. There are a total of 312 pages, and that's, including front and back. I did I don't know, I'm going to call it an open spine, because I don't know what else to call it. It probably has a name, but I needed a way to attach 2 different sized front and back covers. And this is what I came up with. So my front cover is, just your normal chipboard cereal box covered with a little bit of batting and fabric, but the back cover is actually really wide. You can see it better that way, because of my use of the tin, and you will see that at the end, because it's at the end of the book and we don't want spoilers. So it is quite a bit wider, and I could not come up with any other way to attach the 2 pieces, that was going to make any sense. So this is what I came up with. The signatures are sewn into a piece of this stuff. I think it's like called fusible something or other. I don't know. It's for sewing. I have no idea, but it's quite like sturdier. So I took a piece of that and I sewed this fabric around it, because it shows on the inside. And then I sewed my signatures into that piece, and I attached that to the outside of the book. And then to make it pretty, I took another piece of this in the same size as the first one I used, and I covered it in different layers of fabrics and laces. So you can see I've got, this is all vintage lace and trim. So, but there is a piece of like canvas or duck cloth or something on the underneath. That's new, like that's not vintage, obviously. And then I just glued the whole sucker together And this is what we came up with. So it's approximately, I don't know, it's got to be at least a 3-inch spine. Let me find a ruler. I think I originally allotted for it to be a 3-inch spine, but it's closer to 4 when it's all said and done. So there was a lot I wanted to do in this journal, and you'll see I did most of it. So yeah, I've sewn around with some pretty pink thread on the cover, and then I just did a little bit of like layer collage stuff. There's some vintage sewing paper in the back, some pink cheesecloth on top of that, a piece of a ruler from a scrapbook pad that I have, and then this piece that says album actually comes in the kit. And then I made this, and I do have a process video for that. That is the only process video that I managed to be able to record. Even though I promised that I would do a whole bunch for this journal, it just didn't work. Life happened big. So, but there is a process video for the little dress mannequins. So I will get that uploaded, you know, at some point. I don't know. Currently, you're seeing this on Tuesday, and I'm not even at home. I'm with my dad at the hospital. So I will be back on Thursday, and maybe I'll get it uploaded then. So, all right. Anyway, the closure, I obviously needed, again, something that would work on a thin cover and a thick cover at the same time. So what I did was I used a bulldog clip on the front cover. This thing, alligator, is huge, guys. And I attached this, let me, you know what? That's not actually gonna work. Hold on a sec. I'll figure this out. I will figure it out. I want to be able to show you. Okay, so I attached a piece of really pretty, like bubblegum pink sari silk to the bulldog clip on the front. You can see it here. And I made this little charm, and I didn't make the charm. I put it on the chain. It's a little ball of yarn with knitting needles. I don't know if you can see that, but seriously, super cute, right? So I just attached that with a bulb pin, and then this just goes through like so. And then on the back, I used one of these gorgeous large gold safety pins that Dee Dee sent me. Thank you, Dee Dee. And I just put it through the fabric and the batting on the back cover. And again, I created a little charm. Got a little girl's like tutu, ballet tutu, and I attached that with a bulb pin. And so then the sari silk just slips through. It does, I promise. I'm at like the weirdest angle. So it just slips through there, and then you can just tie the whole thing up. All right, so let's open her up. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what Dee Dee made. Like, it's just, yeah, this is all so exciting. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So you can see here the inside of that spine. So on the front cover, I just covered it with some duck cloth that I had sewn around, and I added this piece from the kit that has a really cute little poem about life being like a quilt. And then this is one of the envelopes that comes in the kit, and I added a sewing machine die cut. And then there's a coffee dyed note card inside that I used a little heart corner punch on. And I believe that index card is one that I got from Dee Dee. And then, so that just, you know, closes up under there, and then I just added a little vintage sewing pattern ruffle and a piece of vintage purple lace, and I really like how that looks. And so that just tucks in here like so, and then your little, you know, your little lace pieces. So this is a background page from the kit. And this is one of the pages that Deb provides to be printed onto the back of pages or elements. This is this is a circle piece that comes in the kit, and I just added some pink eyelash trim behind that to make a corner tuck. This is another piece from the kit, and I printed this onto the back. It's like a really pretty, just pale design that you could write over. That is also included. Deb includes that in the kit. And then almost all of the pages in here that aren't part of the kit are like vintage craft, sewing, what have you, papers. I was fortunate enough to win a lot of craft items from an estate sale, sight unseen, and I think I paid like, I don't know, it was under $10. And this was before I started the no spend challenge, just don't fret. And I had no idea what I was getting, but the only picture I saw was just bags and totes, like, you know, overflowing with stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'll go through that for whatever I paid, less than $10. I'll go through it and see if there's anything worth keeping. There was a lot worth keeping, guys. It was like just heaven. So anyway, almost all of the pieces in here came from books that were in that lot, or, you know, different. The lady who, you know, must have collected all of this was a huge sewer, crafter, embroiderer. She had like kits that she had sent away for that she never even never even started. So I have amazing pieces of linen, you know, embroidery fabric with patterns, you know, inked onto them that have never even been touched. So this little envelope was a piece, or it had a pattern in it to make little doll dresses. She also collected dolls, which creeped me out, so I didn't get any of those. However, she had 2 of these envelopes. They're different. You'll see the other one in a minute. And they are from, I think, 1970. The date is on the back, so it'll be at the back of this signature, but look how cute this is. So I just added a little ruffle here, so make sure you can see everything because this is a beast. And then I made a pocket at the top, and these are pieces from Deb's kit. And then you've got that printed on the back, and that just tucks in at the top. And then I created this out of some vintage lace. This is actually sewing pattern transfer paper, but I thought it was just really pretty. So I just sewed all of that together onto an index card to give it some stability, and I made a little side pocket for one of the journaling cards that comes in the kit. And then here we start with the vintage book place pages. So this came out of a quilting manual, I'm gonna say. I took the little spiral bound thing out so it left the cool edges. And then this came out of an embroidery book of some sort, I believe, or it might have been, oh, you know what, I don't know. I think it was Afghans actually, but look at the beautiful color on that. And then here is another one of my little dress forms. And then this came out of a vintage sewing book. And this is just a greeting card that I had. I don't think it's vintage, but this is vintage. This came off of, let's see, this was on the inside of a rickrack wrapper. It is vintage. I just thought it was so cute. And then this is tea-dyed paper. And then this also came in that estate sale lot. It's just a little thing about Women's Day, and you could get little little booklets telling you how to hook, how to knit, how to crochet, how to embroider. So I just put that in there. Some more of that transfer paper. I got this lovely idea from Dee Dee, folding the big doilies in half. So this is avocado dyed. And then this is a piece from the kit and some vintage lacy trim down here at the bottom. And inside is a vintage package for thread wax. It actually still had the thread wax in the original sealed, you know, like little plastic bubble. Obviously the wax was completely dried up, so I took that off and it left kind of an ugly circle. So I added one of Deb's beautiful circles to the front. Added some embroidery yarn at the top and a little stamp and one of the quotes that come in the kit. May your bobbin always be full. Oh my gosh, yes, right? And then you've got journaling space on the back. And then there's some vintage graph paper and some more vintage embroidery patterns. Another, I think this was a quilt book. Love that page. And then she actually had a couple of her receipts from some crafty stores that used to be in the area that I don't think exist anymore. She lived like right down the street from me. So this one's from 1988. So I just put that in there. And then just a piece, like a half piece of paper. And then this is another background from the kit. And I used a ribbon weaving punch by Martha Stewart to cut the holes for that. And then I just wove some pretty turquoise ribbon in there because it matched both sides. And then another vintage quilt book page. And then this is just stunning. This is from an embroidery book. And the pictures are actually like pictures of embroidery. Let me see if I can lift it up so you can see the detail on that. Can you see what I mean? So it looks like it's been embroidered, but it's just a picture. And then it has the directions on the back. And then this is from that quilt book again. And then these were another lot from that same estate sale. They're fashions for May 1870, and then I have two more in the book. One's September and one's December 1870. So obviously they're prints, but I mean, I got these and I was like, well, those are going in the book. Because in my mind, Grandma was a fashionista and she kept up on the latest trends. So those went in here and I corner punched those. And then there are a lot of these awesome torn pockets in the kit. And then this is a tag from the kit, and I'm going to show you because I don't want anyone to get upset later. There are 4 tags similar to this, and I have no idea how it happened, but I was using alcohol ink and I must have dripped it. I have no idea how, because I'm usually pretty careful about keeping stuff away when I'm doing it, but it went through all 4 of the tags. So you'll see that, but I left it because I'm like, well, it just ages it more, right? Like it doesn't hurt it, it just ages it. So I was like, maybe I should print out new copies, but I'm like, nah, I don't need to do that. So this is a paper bag, and this is some scrapbook paper that I had, but I thought it kind of went with the kit. So I just attached that, and then inside, this is a piece from the kit as well, and you could add some more things in there if you wanted to. And then here is a piece of avocado dyed paper, some crochet instructions from a vintage crochet book. This is a really gorgeous doily from A Tattered Dream. Denise at A Tattered Dream on Etsy. And I just took some the Distress Oxide Tattered Rose, I believe, and just kind of went over the embossed sections and around the edges, and I think that's just gorgeous. And then this is a planner page from a 1978 planner. So I just put that in there, and I added this fabric measuring tape along the side. And then we have another page from the kit. Look at that, toppling bobbins. Like, how awesome is that? And here I have a vintage hanky that I cut down and sewed onto a coffee dyed index card to give it some, oomph, and then just made a tuck spot out of it. And there is a journaling card from the kit. And then in that estate sale, there was like a pad of instructions to embroider a bird, and it was like pull off sheets. It's very strange, but they're blank on the back. So I thought that would be perfect as some extra journaling space. And I love this little hanky. Like, how cute is that? And then I also, from that same lady at the estate sale, got a bunch of vintage sewing patterns. So I turned this one into kind of a double pocket. So here you have, this is an inventory tag that I bought it Tuesday morning. It's not vintage or anything. I bought a pack of them. So that goes in there. And then on this side, you just have a tea dyed or coffee dyed index card that I quarter punched. So for some more journaling space. And then in the middle of each signature, I sewed them together with waxed thread, and there's a charm on each one. And this one is a little ruler, if you can see that. All right, and then, sorry guys, this is gonna be a slightly long video because this is a big journal. Another beautiful image from the kit. And then I got these from my sister-in-law. They were crafting, it was a crafting supply, but I have no idea like what, it says 7 grams on it. I have no idea what they're supposed to be used for, but I really liked them. So I used 3 of them in this journal to hold things on. So in this particular case, this is a little tri-fold tag that comes in the kit. And I just, I glued a Tim Holtz dress form piece of ephemera in the middle. And then these are also Tim Holtz ephemera. And behind them are some of the vintage lady cards, or at least this one is. And then this one is one of the journaling cards that comes in the Grandma Sewing Basket kit. And then that just folds back up like that and slips over the page like so, and clips on. And then you've got the other side of that doily and the other side of the crochet book page, and then some more avocado paper. And then I made a little fabric flip out of this gorgeous eyelet fabric I had. It's vintage, and then this is also vintage fabric ribbon at the top. So you've just got a little flip here and then one of the quotes underneath. And then here's the other side of the paper bag, and this is a piece of Tim Holtz cardstock that I cut down because it had like little clasps and safety pins and needles and stuff. It looked like a, you know, it's a sewing theme. And I just did a little bit of layering here. You've got some vintage gingham fabric ribbon. This is just a sticker. And then this is actually a vintage Sharps needle package. Let me see. I just took the picture off, but it was like a piece of tissue paper all wrapped around needles. And this is from my mom's sewing basket. So she gave that to me a while ago, and I finally have a reason to use it. And then more of that scrapbook paper on the other side. Another pocket, and then some more vintage ladies, and an avocado dyed index card. And the other side of that fashion plate. And then more book page. Look at how pretty that is, that embroidery. Some more pattern paper, and then these are vintage button cards that I sewed buttons onto. I have no idea. I very early on started putting all of my buttons together, so I do not know any longer which ones are the vintage ones and which ones are the new ones. So, you know, it is what it is. But those are actually glued and sewed on, and then there's a piece of packing tape on the back so that it's easy to put the card in. So just made it into like a little belly band, and I put some lace at the top. And I love this background page from the kit. And this, oh, so pretty. The other half of that notebook paper and the other half of the receipt. Another part of the quilt book. And on the other side of the doily pocket, this came in that estate sale lot. And it is just a, I don't even know what it is. I think it's from a company called Stitches and Such that is literally was right down the road from me. I don't think they're there anymore, but it opens up like this, and I just thought it was cool, and it's vintage. And so I just slid that in there because Grandma would have kept stuff like that. Like, she was really into her craft, so she would have kept stuff like that. So here's the other side of that transfer paper, and then the other side of that little slip. And this is tea dyed. And then the other side of that greeting card, I just put a little pink ruffle in there. And then on this page, I have an coffee dyed index card. And then this is a vintage Rick Rack package that I turned into a pocket for a Tim Holtz paper tag that I made. And then it's also a tuck spot in the back for the card. So I thought it looked cool because this is green in the background here and this was green, so it worked out perfectly. I'm gonna try to go a little faster. This is another vintage, not a hanky, but maybe like a, well, I don't know what it would have been called, but I just cut out the floral part because I thought it was really pretty, and I sewed that with some decorative stitching onto an index card to make a tuck spot here. I think, yeah, that's all that's back there. And I left all my strings because it's a sewing journal. If you don't like that, if you purchase this and you don't like that, you can just cut them off. But I like how that looks. And then this is actually the other side of that envelope, and I just tucked a whole sheet of tea-dyed paper in this side of the pocket. And there's nothing on it, it's just writing space because there weren't a whole lot of pages in the journal, you know, that are like fully writable or fully, you know what I mean. So I wanted to just add some more space for that. And then on the other side, this is a vintage yarn wrapper, needlepoint wool. And I just glued that onto an index card because it was quite flimsy. And then I just added a guest check in there that's coffee dyed and another one of those sheets to write on. And then this is an adorable little piece that comes in the kit. And then there's another journaling card. And that is the end of the first signature. And I glued some really pretty ruffle on the back of each signature. All right, so this one, kind of the same deal, but a little bit of different stuff. So this is a page from the kit. And then you've got another, look at this kitty playing with the thread. Oh my gosh. Some more eyelash trim up there, and then this beautiful lady on that little card. This actually I got from Paulette at TLC Printables, oh my goodness, Facebook group. I just failed. I am so sorry. A lot of you probably know the group I'm talking about, but now I've completely drawn a blank. But this just showed up the other day in my feed, and I was quite appreciative because it's an ad. It's an old ad for a sewing machine. So I added that in there because, you know, Grandma would have had to save up that $24.95 to get this new sewing machine. And so she would have put this in her journal so that she would be able to remind herself what she was saving for. So, and I printed that onto tea-dyed paper. And then, you know, more of the vintage book pages. Here's another dress form. I love this one. It's very fall. But yeah, that's like my favorite. Those are my favorite parts of this journal, I think. All right, and then this was a card. I think it was in the estate sale stuff of a quilt. I thought, well, that's perfect. And then this I got, it was in a frame at a rummage sale a while back, like the beginning of the summer. And it's so cute because she's knitting and the little kitty is just eating up her yarn. And so I had to have it. I threw the frame away, and I've been holding on to the picture ever since in anticipation of a sewing journal. And then this is like a Woman's Day ad. She had a lot of patterns, the actual lady, that she had sent away from Women's Day. More transfer paper. And then I just used one of the circles and some of that vintage fabric ribbon on the doily pocket. And this was actually in that lot. So it looks like she had maybe been practicing on her embroidery machine or quilting machine or something. So it was very white. So I inked it up, and I thought, well, yeah, Grandma would have kept stuff like that. You know, she'd want to remind herself of like the first time she used her quilting machine, or, you know, just like a sample. So I added that. More graph paper, and then this is from Crochet Thread Vintage as well. And there's a journaling card from the kit inside. More, oh, this actually came from my friend Lisa. Hi Lisa. She sent me this this piece of paper from a book, embroidery book, I believe. It's really pretty. And then this was in with that estate sale. It was an invitation to join the National Handcraft Society. So obviously Grandma would want to hold on to that. Some more lined paper. And then here I used, this is Deb's alteration ticket. This is the full size that it prints out. I printed some that were a bit smaller too. But I turned this, I stamped this sewing machine image onto the front, and I added a ruffle of that gingham, and then the gingham is up here as well. And then I just made it a flip. I used some ruler from a Tim Holtz paper pad. I stamped a spool of thread, and then this is one of the pockets from the kit, and this is a Tim Holtz ephemera piece, like a dress, it's a dressmaking guide, and I glued vintage sewing pattern paper on the back so you'd have a place to write that wasn't stark white, because that bothers me. All right, and then here we are, some more of these vintage book pages, the embroidery book. And then here is the plate. Oops, I didn't tuck that back in. Here's the plate from September 1870. And on the other side, we have a pocket. In the pocket, this is a little tag that comes with the kit. I just put some vintage brown lace and a brad. Couldn't think of the word. And then this came in that estate sale lot, and it's her handwritten instructions on how to make a 42-inch by 60-inch Afghan. And she's got some math on the back, and I just thought that was amazing. It already had like splatters. I just love that. So that obviously had to go in here. And then you have another paper bag with that scrapbooking paper. And then this is a tag from the kit, and I just added some loopy edged ribbon there. Avocado dyed paper, advertisement for the Ohio Valley Quilters Guild, some more of that beautiful paper doily from Denise at A Tattered Dream, and I turned 2 of the tickets that come with the kit into a paper clip, and I added some of that fabric from the cover. And I don't have it holding anything at the moment, but you could always, you know, always add something. It was getting a little bulky, so I had to kind of slow myself down. And then here, this was given to me in Happy Mail from one of my pen pals. So I just attached that to an index card, and then you've got some journaling cards inside there. And then our next vintage sewing pattern, here again, we have that alcohol ink, but isn't that pretty? And then you've got, I just love this. And they were in such good condition. She took care of her stuff. And then a coffee dyed index card in there. And then I made a little triple pocket tuck spot out of a glassine bag that I had avocado dyed. And you've got one of those pieces of paper tucked in the back. And then I did a little bit of layering with some Tim Holtz ephemera, a little bit of a string bow down here, some vintage like rick-racky kind of trim. And then in here are 2 pieces of Tim Holtz ephemera that again I backed with vintage sewing pattern paper because I thought that looked better than the white. And the one goes in the back, and then this one goes, there's like a front pocket, a back pocket, and then up here my favorite piece. This was in all those craft supplies. This is, yeah, like, look at how awesome and old and just spectacular this is. These are the original strings. I love this piece. So whoever buys this journal, if you're not gonna love this piece as much as I do, please let me know and I will keep it. No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking. If you buy this, you can do whatever you want with it. Just don't let me know. All right, so we have another one of those clips and an envelope from the kit. And I used that really pretty vintage lace, and then there's another index card inside. But look how pretty that is. I love that. And then that just clips on there. Look at that pretty background page. And here we are to the other side. Another one of those fabric flips, another quote. Here I just used another sticker and a satin ruffle. And then you have inside here a vintage lady journaling card and an avocado dyed index card. And I love these pockets with this little girl helping her brother. So in here, you have another one of those pieces of paper. And then I created this spool out of some scrapbooking paper that I had. And there's actually space to write under where the ribbon is. So if you're so inclined, you could unwrap the ribbon. It's not glued or anything. And you could have a really super secret journaling spot there. The other side of the fashion plates, a book page, and then this was a table runner, I believe, and I just cut it down to make a pocket. So in the pocket you have a couple journaling cards, but I just thought that was really pretty and it went with that lace so well. Love it. Another vintage button card that I sewed my own buttons onto. And some more vintage ladies. And then in this doily pocket, I added all the rest of the quotes that I didn't use. I had already cut them up. They're on avocado dyed paper, so I thought you could add them into the journal if you wanted. And then they're just being held together with a little coil clip. Transfer paper, the other side of that Women's Day magazine ad, another ruffle on the other side of this card, and on the back of the card, just to cover up the the writing, I added a little piece of notebook paper that you could journal on. And then here again we have some vintage rickrack wrapper, and it is also a pocket in the top, but I didn't have anything small enough to go in there. If I find something, I'll put it in, but you could always add something. And then there's just a journaling card in the back. I want to say that I do have small enough things. I'm not sure where they are. And then here we have another beautiful, these were napkins, and I just cut it down and sewed it onto index card again to make a little pocket for another guest check. And then on here, this is my grandmother's little sewing kit that came in a box of sewing goods that she gave me. And so it is very vintage for sure, but I just kind of left it the way it was. And then the other side of that sewing machine ad. And then this is a, I don't know where this came from, Tuesday Morning or something. It's not new, but I did tea dye it or coffee dye it and made it look older. And then you've got an index card inside there. And then that's the end of the second signature. And then we're on to the last one, guys. Oh, I forgot to show you the charm on this one is an old sewing machine. Love that charm. All right, final signature, guys. I know this is long and I actually need to get a move on. So, all right, so same thing. We've got one of the circles from the kit, and then this beautiful little card from the kit. And then I just added a little ruffle here. This is another one of those doll clothes pattern envelopes. And then you've got another tuck spot here, like the first one. And then in here is another piece from the kit that I actually ticket stubbed those. I have a punch that does that. I did it with the other one too. I just think I forgot to show you. So that just goes in there. And then you've got more vintage book pages. And then the final dress form here. And then on this card, this is a piece of handmade fabric washi from my beautiful friend Lisa. And this is a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera. And another one of those Women's Day things. Some more transfer paper, a little layering. This is some more of Lisa's fabric washi underneath this circle from the kit. And in this pocket, I have a savings certificate for McCall's Needlework and Crafts magazine, I'm guessing. And I have no idea what year this is from. Oh, yes I do. The offer was good until April 30th of 1983. So I thought that was kind of neat. And again, Grandma was really into her crafting magazines, so she would have held on to that to save some money, right? And then you've got another vintage bias tape, made it into a pocket for the journaling cards and a tuck spot. Another receipt from '87. Again, I wove some ribbon through the edge of that page. Some more of that embroidery book. And then the fashion plates for December of 1870. And then here's another pocket from the kit, and then one of Deb's alteration tickets that I printed 2 to a page. It ended up being 4, like it comes with 2 tickets per page, so I printed it 2 per page, so I had 4 per page. I'm probably just confusing myself and you. Another paper bag, and then this one is one of the other inventory tags I got it Tuesday morning. More doily. Beautiful background page from the kit. Another napkin that I cut down and turned into a tuck spot for a piece of Tim Holtz paper. And then that other tag with alcohol ink. I don't know, I kind of like it. That just tucks in that side. And then you've got the vintage pattern here. 65 cents this cost. And then in this one, so just an avocado dyed index card. And then this actually let me start over. So the image on the front and the back of this little booklet I made, it's not really a booklet, I'll show you in a second. These also came from that estate sale, and I don't know how old these are, but they're pretty old. Just by the aging, I think they're somewhat old. But I just glued them onto some chipboard or some, like heavier paper, cardstock, something or other. And I sewed some lace to make, a spine of sorts. And on the inside, we have 2 of the pockets from the kit. I used a newspaper article about a fashion show to line the insides. And then this is just a die cut that I had in my stash of a corset. These are actually Nancy Reagan paper dolls that I got at a used bookstore in Florida while I was visiting my son. And now I have chopped the head parts off and the tabs because I just wanted, Grandma was really into fashion, so she would have gone to this fashion show and maybe they had a catalog of some of the items that, the models were wearing, and maybe she just kind of collected her favorites. You've got a little ruffle here, and then this is the rest of the article that I didn't use to line the paper. But yeah, so that's what that is. And then that just slides over this page here. Oops. See if I can do it right. There we go. And then that goes there. And then some more pages, another fabric flip with another quote. And then this bag, this is definitely a vintage newspaper clipping. A spare needle envelope and a sticker, and then another Tim Holtz paper tag. In that bag, more of that scrapbooking paper in the back. journaling card. I think this was Grandma when she was younger and just learning how to sew. I had a lot of fun with this journal, guys. Like, it took me a long time, but I had a lot of fun working on it. So you could get Christmas embroidery kits by mail. So I just put that in there. Another button card that I sewed the buttons onto. And there's a Vintage Lady card in the back. That beautiful page. And this pretty quilt. Oh, I love this little girl playing with her doll. Oh, you probably can't see that. There's a glare. There you go. And then in here, this was the cover to that little bird embroidery. I guess it's kind of cross stitch. Those little pieces of paper I was showing you. So you can journal on the back of that. All right, we're almost done, guys. Ruffle here. A vintage knitting needle package that I turned into a little side tuck. And another one of these tucks with a journaling card and another piece of that paper. And then in this pocket is avocado dyed, just copy paper that you can write on. And then this is the other side of that doll pattern envelope. And then this gorgeous piece that comes in the kit, another index card, and okay, we're to the back. I'm so excited now. All right, so this is the exciting, well, I loved the whole thing, but this is what I did with my tin. Okay, so I created a little doily flip here to kind of cover up what's underneath. Are you ready? I'm so excited. All right, here we go. All right, so I have my husband to thank for the construction work involved in this. He had to saw out, drill, I don't know, whatever the word is, a space for me to tuck my tin into, but I want to hold it up so you can see. So this is the tin. I did not use the lid because I couldn't come up with a way that it would work, but I made a shadow box out of it. I aged the metal with alcohol inks because it was just a bright silver. So now it's like this nice coppery rusty color. I used a lot of vintage pieces from my grandmother in here. This thimble, these bobbins were hers. I believe this crochet hook was hers. This is a needle threader. You can't probably see it on the camera, but it actually says West Germany on it. So it's pretty old. Let's see what else. This is some vintage satin that I just put some ball pins in. Some bulb pins in this little piece of crochet down here. And then this was a safety pin that I found in a parking lot in Florida, already rusted and aged perfectly for me, and my son thought I was insane. So I'm like, nope, I'm using that. This is a vintage wooden spool, thread spool. I think the thread is also vintage. I wound it myself. This is just a little old safety pin. I made this spool card with my Tim Holtz die. You've got 3 buttons here. These I think I got from my mom. I cannot remember, but these are vintage little hook and eye closures. This is a vintage seam tape packaging, and then there's vintage sewing pattern paper in the back. There's vintage lace on the side, and then there's not vintage crochet trim on this side, and on the very bottom is a piece of duck cloth. Now these little tiny knitting needles came from that estate sale. I have no idea what they're supposed to be used for, but I spent about an hour knitting that much onto it so that they would look legit. I wanted this to look like grandma's sewing basket, you know, like projects that she was working on, or special pieces, or things that she, you know, didn't want to lose because they were instructions or what have you. I just wanted it to look, you know, kind of authentic. So yeah, so the backboard is 5 pieces of bookboard thick. And like I said, thank you so much to my husband for cutting that out for me, because I could never have done that part myself. But yeah, that's it, guys. And then it just has this adorable little vintage doily flip over the top of it. I am so excited by this. I can't even tell you. So yeah, now you've seen it. Yay! And Dee Dee's probably seeing it, and I'm so excited that she gets to see it finally, because she was waiting on me. So I'm gonna do something a little different with this journal, as opposed to listing it in my Etsy shop. I'm gonna try something new, because Etsy is getting on my very last nerve. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. So if you are interested in this journal, my email address is in the description box below. Email me, let me know that you are interested. I will then email you back with the price, and shipping would be free, because that's how I have it set up in my Etsy shop right now. So to keep that fair, but I'll send you a price. If you're cool with the price and you're still interested and you still want it, then I would send you an invoice through PayPal, and you could pay me that way, and then I would get it shipped out to you as soon as payment was made. So I'm just gonna try it out. I just want to see what happens. If it doesn't work, fine. You know, I'll list it in Etsy at some point if no one claims it. But yeah, just let me know. And I hope you liked this as much as I did, guys. I'm so happy with this journal. I just absolutely love it. Let me know what you think. Give me a comment, thumbs up, anything. Just let me know what you think. And oh, I almost forgot. I have 800 subscribers, guys. I am so just blown away. 800. I think it's like 802 this morning when I checked. So, oh my gosh, I am so like just excited, and I couldn't do this without you guys. And the fact that you guys want to watch and you're interested just makes me so happy. And yeah, I will come back. I will do a giveaway for 800 subscribers. Probably after I get back from my parents, after my dad has his surgery. I will, I'll come home and try to get that together, but I need to go and do that now. So, but I wanted to say thank you to all of my subscribers, new, old, all of you, even my sons who only subscribed because I'm their mom. Thank you so very much. All of your amazing comments and your support and the way that you have embraced this no spend challenge. I could never have dreamed that this is where I would be. So thank you so much. And I will be back soon, like I said, with a giveaway. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day. And I can't wait to see what you guys think about this journal. And I'll talk to you soon. Till next time, guys. Take care. Bye.